Okay, so this is part 2 of question A from the 2008 scholarship paper, question 2, and we've got a strange question here. It's very mathematical looking. All it starts off is, it says show that cos theta equals this awkward looking thing here. With a question like this, it's important not to start with that and then work backwards. You need to start from your diagram and your information that you're previously given and develop it. So you never substitute the show part into, you don't use it, you don't substitute in to arrive at it. Okay, so it's a goal, it's a thing you can look at to see if you're going in the right track, in the right direction. Now what's difficult about this question is it seems to be so counter to a lot of what scholarship's all about. Scholarship's not so much about testing pure mathematical ability, that's scholarship physics, it's not about pure mathematical ability in following through processes and things, but this question actually does seem to be like that. But there is a reason why it's trying to get you to find this cos theta. It's because later questions will refer to it and look at the angle here of the wine butler and how that angle has to change for certain things. Okay, so there is a purpose for doing this, and there are hints about that, but you'd have to read the entire paper first to get it. Okay, long introduction. On we go. We're going to need to use our equation from the previous question, and we're going to have to look at our show and see that cos theta is going to be arrived from somewhere. So we can actually look at the cos theta bit and develop two equations. One is that cos theta equals, because cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, we can use this triangle here, and we can use the length adjacent B over the hypotenuse L, which is half the length of the wine butler. The length of the wine butler is 2L. So that's one equation. You can form another equation from another similar triangle, cos theta equals, and this uses a larger triangle, the length here to that point where the bottle goes in, and it uses the length C minus A, minus that A, so it's just down to this part of the, so let me draw that onto the diagram. We're interested in this length here, and we're also interested in this length here, and because that's our adjacent and our hypotenuse, because you can translate that length that I've drawn with the arrow down to here, and you create the triangle. Okay, so how that works out is cos B equals C minus A. Hang on, let's adjacent over hypotenuse, yes, C minus A, over that length in the middle here, which is D, plus the L, half the length of the wine butler. So over L plus D, we'll put it around that way, so that if you're using the answers and going along, it makes sense. Okay, now we can equate these two together and start doing some interesting things. So we've got B over L equals C minus A over L plus D. Okay, we can do a little bit of rearrangement. Well, actually, before I do that, very important, if we compare what we're aiming for with what we've got here, we're missing the cos theta in this one, and we've got extras. We've got a B and an A, whereas there are no B's and the A's in this, just C, M, L and D. Okay, both M's actually. So we're going to get part of it from this formula up here. We can rearrange that to make it B equals, or A equals something, and substitute it in to get rid of that A or that B. So we're going to do that, and then we'll have to do something else which links a few other things. Okay, so I just had a pause, regrouping where I'm at. We've got this equation formed by equating these two, and we need to get rid of the A and the B. So we're going to do a little rearrangement. No, we won't. We'll go straight to it. We're going to use this equation here, make B the subject. So we'll rearrange that to make B the subject. B equals A, little a, over big M over little m. So we're going to take that and put that in place of the B. Okay, moving it up a little. So it's going to be A capital M over little m, all of that divided by L, equals C minus A over L plus D. Okay, so I'll write that in. L plus D. Okay, my A could look like a bit of a squash D, but just be careful there. And we can simplify this and rearrange a little bit. I'll do the simplifying first on the right hand side here. So it's going to be A capital M over ml, like milliliters, because if you divide a fraction by a number, it just ends up going on the bottom of that fraction again. And equals, I'm going to do it a little bit like this, C minus A. What does a little bit like this mean? I don't know. C minus, I put it in brackets so that they're a little bit easier to see just what's going on, and it helps you think about rearrangements in terms of what you're doing with as the whole unit rather than just as the, with the whole unit rather than thinking about a C and an A and a minus. And okay, anyway, the next part then is to shift the L plus D across, because what we're ultimately going to do is try and rearrange and get the A by itself, because then we can deal with the A in a substitution. So we're going to have A times capital M L plus D over small m big L equals, in brackets, C minus A. Now we've got a little bit of a trick here that we're going to use, because so far they've got different denominators and the A can't be easily rearranged and substituted. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the right hand side by 1. But that might seem silly, but we're going to do it in the form of small m capital L over small m capital L. Okay, so if we multiply the right hand side by ml over ml, that means we can rewrite that right hand side as C ml over ml minus A ml over ml. And you'll notice now that we've got a common denominator for every single thing in on the left hand side and the right hand side, so that makes our rearrangement just a little bit easier. Okay, we'll go back to red now, and we're going to bring the A across to the left hand side, and I'll rearrange it to be AML over ML rather than A times ML over ML. Okay, subtle distinction there. Rewind and listen again if you didn't quite catch that. So it's going to be A capital M L plus D over milliliters, sort of, plus, it's actually not milliliters, but yeah, you know what I mean, over A times milliliters again over milliliters. So what we can do, and that equals C, and we can actually get rid of the C part now. Looks like we're making C by itself, but just bear with me here and you'll see where this is going. So we're going to do a little bit of cancellation. We'll get rid of that and just leave C by itself. And we're not going to cancel the milliliters for the A because we haven't quite finished with using that as the purpose. We're going to take, we're going to make this into a single fraction over one bit of an ML, and we're going to, so that's going to be A capital M L plus D plus A small m L. And we're going to take A up the front by itself. Okay, it sounds very elaborate and seems very elaborate. If you're losing the place of where we're up to and what we're doing, it's a good idea to go back. And I'll use rectangular brackets just to divide this a little bit easier. M L plus D plus ML. Okay, and that is all divided by ML. Okay, and that equals C. Whew. Big time, what's going on here? Okay, now, this is, I'm going to just put a box around this for now, because we're going to leave it for a moment and come back to it. We've got the A by itself, so we can now substitute something in terms of the A for the A to make it equal, and we're going to have to come all the way back up to our original equations, and we're going to use what are we going to use? We have to use something with cos theta, and we have to use something that gets rid of the b but also has just a single a. So we're actually going to use these two equations. We're going to rearrange, we're just going to substitute in that for b, and that'll give us something to work with. Okay, honestly, I myself would not come up with this if I was doing it by myself. I had the answers to work with, and I followed it through. But some of you might be able to follow all of these clues and to get it. Anyway, let's use these two equations here, and we're going to substitute in for b. So we'll have cos theta equals a. I'm skipping a short step here, but you should be able to cope with this by now, over ml. Okay, cos theta equals a over ml, and we've seen part of this before in our earlier equation. Let me just scoot right back down to there. Take note of that. It's cos theta equals a capital M over ml. Remember the a, this part here, the a and the ml part. We're going to scoot way back down over here, and in our equation here we've got the a over an ml. So we can actually group that separately and substitute it in. So we're going to take a over ml, this is rewriting the equation above, times by capital M L plus D plus ml equals C, and we're going to take this part here, a over ml, and we're going to substitute in, back up here, back up here, back up here, we're going to substitute in cos theta over m, because you can rearrange this whole thing here to be cos theta over capital M equals a over ml. So that is now being put in there. Okay, you can see where we're going. Cos theta over m, back down here, and you can see this is a big difficult question, but let's go right ahead and do it. So cos theta over capital M times by capital M L in brackets L plus D plus milliliters equals C, and we've actually now got all of the elements, one more quick scroll, all of the elements of this, and now it's just a matter of rearranging them to get to what you want, which is getting to that. So take a quick note, it's M times C over M plus M, small m plus big M, times L plus MD. So we need to do a little bit of rearranging to get to that, and I'll just relatively speedily go through with that now. So I'm going to take the M across, and we'll have cos theta equals, now we're going to take everything across, we're going to go capital MC over everything in that square brackets, taking the square brackets away now, L plus D plus ML. Okay, and all we've got to do now is rearrange the bottom on the right hand side to match what we're after. Okay, and so let's just do that really quickly. MC over capital ML plus capital MD plus small ml, and you can see we can take L out by itself for these two terms, and we'll end up with cos theta is the last one equals MC over L times M plus M plus MD, capital MD. And I think the L might actually be on this side rather than on this side, but that's basically what you're after. And we'll stop before we get to 15 minutes.